Kurt, NBA Finals Game 5 is tonight. But before that, let's go ahead and look at the first 4 games, particularly Game 4. The Bucks tied it up 109-103. Now the series is 2-2. What were your takeaways from Game 4?
It wasn't the prettiest of games. It was entertaining. It had its moments. It maybe had the signature play of the series with that Giannis block. But it wasn't a pretty game. But 2 things jumped out at me. A, Chris Middleton is your closer. He is the guy, as much as Giannis is the best player on that team, Chris Middleton is the guy you turn to in the crunch, in the pick and roll to go get you buckets. And B, if you're going to win a title, you got to win some ugly games. You got to be a grinder. It's got to be some grit in there. It's not all going to be Showtime Lakers who are grittier than people remember. Like, you need some of games like this, and the Bucks got the win in a gritty game. That's a good sign for them.
Yeah, they went 2-0 at home, and the man you mentioned, Chris Middleton. Let me read you his stat line. Are you ready, Kurt? 40 points. He was 15 from 33 from the field, 3 from 8 from the three-point line, and 7 and 8 from the free throw line. He just took over late in that game, and he showed. I mean, really, that's kind of the question that we've seen before is, can Giannis close, right? But Giannis, I mean, he had 26. He had a double-double, a 20-point double-double in that game. You have different roles for different teams, and this season, I think the Bucks have found their roles, right? Giannis is old, reliable. He'll get you 20 and 10, 20 and 15, effortlessly. And then late in games when you need a shot, you're throwing it to Chris Middleton, and he's there day in and day out. And it's been a very good combination for them.
Yeah, Giannis is not even like Chris Paul or Booker. I can throw him the ball in the half court and create something. He can do a little of that, and he can get to the rim, but Middleton's ability to hit the 3, to pull up, and as a passer just makes him much more dangerous in a half court setting. And that play they ran, if the Suns are going to win the series, they got to figure out an answer for the Middleton-Giannis Antetokounmpo pick and roll, don't they? They just went to that down the stretch, like, all right, stop this. And Suns didn't have an answer, and they're going to have to find one, before Game 5, because at some point they're just going to run this over and over, right, until they stop it.
If it ain't broke, right, don't fix it. One thing that really stood out to me was we talked about this before, the big 3 of the Suns versus the big 3 of the Bucks, right? So you look at the big 3 of the Suns, DeAndre Ayton, 6 points.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, 10 points. And then Devin Booker, 42 points. But we haven't really seen them all click since Game 1 or 2, Kurt.
No, the Bucks played great defense. First off, there was some, I don't say online people were like a little all over Drew Holiday, who had another rough shooting night. He impacts the game so much defensively and with his rebounding, but defensively, he's really picking up Chris Paul the length of the court, making life difficult for him. By the way, can't wait to see him do that in the Olympics. He's just going to hound guys. Oh, I can be physical? Let's go. But he was allowed to be a little bit physical in this game, was really like just a defensive force. And Booker, by the way, those 42 points, a lot of those came in the second half on difficult shots. Like he hit hard. There was high degree of difficulty stuff, and he was just knocking it all down. Holiday's defense has been really impactful. If you can hold one of those guards in check, and then the length of this team, their ability to play great defense, they've been a top defensive team for years. They, again, were top 10 not fouling this year. They don't foul. They play great defense. The Suns do as well, but and we're top 10 in that category too. But, not fouling is just part of the hallmark of them, and it frustrates teams that play against them. But they did a good job on it this time around. And, by the way, I don't think the Suns fans get to complain about no calls after this game. They got away with a couple.
But when you mentioned with the defense, Kurt, Chris Paul had 2 points at halftime.
Yeah. Part of that, though,
at halftime, Kurt.
If part of that is, I want to give Holiday a lot of credit there. I don't know what, that was just not Chris Paul's night. He's got to, he knows, I'm not even going to say he's got to be better. Chris Paul just is better, and he had a bad night. When was the last time you saw him miss passes like that and have turnovers late in a game? But those kind of just sloppy, he's just not really who Chris Paul is. That's the other thing the Suns have to clean up. 17 turnovers. You can't do that to a team that likes to get out and run, right? Like, when you do that, you just end up in trouble.
And once again, we laid all, and DeAndre Ayton, 6 points, but he had 17 rebounds. So he's unstoppable doing what he does, but around the rim, for whatever reason, it's not connecting for him or Chris Paul. So when you think about everything we laid out, Kurt, they lost by 6 points. That's kind of the takeaway for me too, is after this, like all the turnovers, after the big 3 not really playing well together all at the same time, they still only lost by 6. when we know Milwaukee's great at home. So coming back for Game 5, who do you think has the edge?
I think the Suns have an edge. I think that you're just not going to see that game from Chris Paul again. I can tell you Monty Williams has written turnover on the whiteboard already. They can't turn the ball over like that. They can't be sloppy. I think that they get a real energy from their crowd. Their role players will pick up. So the one thing for the Bucks, though, they again shot poorly from three. If they go on the road and they have a good three-point shooting night to a great three-point shooting night, they can steal this thing and you could still get your Bucks in 6. The Bucks were not perfect in this game, man. You could still get that prediction. Not only obviously they have to win Game 5 to do that, but I think they're capable. I think that they have a spectacular game in them. And, by the way, we haven't even talked about that block by Giannis is now the signature play of the playoffs, isn't it? That was the most incredible thing to read that. But I don't know if there's another player in the league right now or maybe ever who could make that read and have the athleticism to get over there.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely focused on one hand, to turn around, identify the player, Aiden, by the way, Aiden in midair, pull him back to dunk, and then be able to gather and go get it. I played receiver in college, and one of the things that I loved about football, wide receiver, is when the ball's in the air, you have to make an adjustment in about half a second.
Yeah.
While being physical, and then you see these guys making these incredible acrobatic grabs, and the delicacy of being able to make a one-handed catch out of position and still get your feet in bounds. And I hadn't seen anything like that when I saw Giannis, and I was like, man, I've seen a lot of great catches. I've seen a lot of great go up and get 'ems, but that one by Giannis was something special.
You had your share of impressive catches back there, but it's funny. Drew Holiday was asked about it, because Giannis said, "Well, I recognized it when Chris Paul started to flip his hand in his post game." He's like, when he recognized it, and they asked Drew Holiday, when he recognized it, he goes, "Well, I recognized it at the same time, but what am I going to do about it? What can I physically do about it?" Giannis is the only guy on the floor who could have made that play. It is a signature moment, and it gives them. They take momentum forward, don't they? They take some momentum into Game 5.
And I got to give a huge shout out to Pat Connaughton, fellow Notre Dame guy. He's been playing really well. I do find it very interesting, though. I will just say, given Pat's great performance on both sides of the floor, but this one-on-one matchup with Devin Booker, they put Pat on Devin a lot, and and that is, to me, I was like, whoa, that's a pretty crazy concept. Devin Booker, you're not going to double him. The guy has 42 points. You're not going to double him. But going into Game 5, I'm excited to see what exactly happens with that matchup, the Pat-Devin matchup. And I'm also excited to see, can Aiden and can Chris Paul turn it around? And if they all play, if the Suns all play at the same time, right? If they all play, I don't need 30, 40 point. You know what I'm saying? If you just give me respectable 18 to 25, each a piece, the Suns might be able to take it from at home. But right now, the way that I see the Bucks playing ball all together, it's like Giannis gets 40, then it's okay, I'm going to get 26 in a double-double, 10 plus rebounds. Chris, your turn, get 40. It's just right now the Bucks are, like you said, they have momentum in their court, and the way that they're playing all together, even with an exhausted Giannis, I think that unless the Suns do something incredible, this is the Bucks series to lose.
Yeah, I think the Bucks can make the play. Just do us a favor, Milwaukee, because I find them frustrating, and we've discussed this to watch. How'd they win Game 3? Hounded inside, right? Use that length, use that size. Half their shots came in the paint. Half their points came in points in the paint, or more than half their points came in points in the paint. Get it inside. So how'd they start Game 4? 13 of 18 shots outside the paint. Just go with what works. Stop trying other stuff. Go to your strengths, and they need to do that on the road. They need to get it inside early. Get a few turnovers, get out and run a little bit. And if they do that and build some momentum and confidence and quiet what will be a very loud building, I'm with you. I think they've got a chance. I think the Bucks know what they need to do and how to play. We'll see if the Suns can make the adjustments.